بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، صلى الله وسلم وبارك على عبده ورسوله الأمين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The sixth hadith in the book of Al-Arba'in Nawawi is narrated by An-Nu'man ibn Bashir, may Allah be pleased with him and with his father. He said that the Prophet ﷺ said, Al-halalu bayyin wal-haramu bayyin. That which is lawful is clear, and that which is unlawful is clear. And between the two of them are doubtful matters about which many people do not know. Thus, he who avoids doubtful matters clears himself in regard to his religion and his reputation. But he who falls into doubtful matters eventually falls into that which is unlawful. Like the shepherd who postures around a sanctuary about to enter it and graze in it. Truly, every king has a sanctuary, and truly Allah's sanctuary is His prohibitions. Truly, in the body there is a morsel of flesh, which, if it be whole, all the body is whole, and which, if it is diseased, all of the body is diseased. Truly, it is the heart. And this was reported by Al-Bukhari and Muslim. Hadith of An-Nu'man ibn Bashir, may Allah be pleased with him, is one of the great hadiths that scholars say Islam revolves around. Hadith of Umar, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ, verily deeds are by their intentions. Hadith Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, whoever innovates in our religion what's not part of it is rejected. And the hadith of Nu'man ibn Bashir, al-halal is clear and al-haram is clear, and the doubtful and the dubious matters are in between. Now, if you look at this hadith, it has a lot of points to benefit from. Firstly, in Islam, things are one of three. Either clearly halal, example, water, grain, meat, things that we consume, things that we wear, all types of clothing, all types of things to use. Everything that Allah has created on earth is halal for us, unless defined and stated that it is not. So these are clearly halal. No one disagrees or doubts that drinking water is permissible if you're not fasting. No one doubts that eating an orange or an apple is permissible. These are completely halal things. Riding horses, driving cars, etc. All of this is halal. The second type is something that is completely prohibited, and all Muslims know about this. So if someone wanted to marry his mother or his sister, it's by default forbidden. No one doubts this. If someone wants to eat pork, wanted to eat something that is harmful, we all agree that this is prohibited and it is not permissible. Wearing silk or gold for men is not permissible. Wearing men's clothing for women, they're cursed for doing this. This is not. These are so clear to people that they know that this is prohibited. In between, there are things that are dubious, doubtful. For example, smoking 30 years ago, 40 years ago, was among the things that were doubtful amongst the Muslims. Some say it's haram, some say it's disliked, some say it's halal. That was 40 or 50 years ago. Now, there is no doubt that it is forbidden among scholars. And even the general public, they know that this is dangerous. This is the main cause for cancer, for hypertension, for heart disease, etc. So it's not dubious anymore. So the Prophet is telling us, what is halal, you have no problem with it. What is haram, you have all the problem in doing it. Now the tricky thing is that things or matters that are doubtful, that are dubious, because the majority of people do not know them, which means that there are certain scholars that know that this is haram, but the general public probably do not know, and some scholars do not know either. And that is why the Prophet is telling us, alayhi salatu wasalam, to avoid dubious things. So, when you are in confusion, is it halal or haram? To be on the safe side, stay away from it and refrain from it. Why? As long as it's not crystal clear whether it's halal or haram, why do I stay away from it? This is the trick. Shaitan creeps in with his footsteps. And that is why Allah tells us in the Quran, do not follow the steps of shaitan, of the devil. Satan, or the devil, he does not come to you directly to sin. Because if he comes to a person who's practicing and he says, why don't you fornicate? Why don't you go on a date with a woman and commit zina, which is one of the heinous and major sins in Islam? If he does this, the practicing brother would say, are you crazy? A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. I would never fall in such filth. So the devil does his tricks on you. And he says, why don't you listen to that song? It's a love song. Beautiful words, beautiful lyrics, beautiful music. And you do. Time after time after time. Why don't you watch that movie or this movie? This is a blockbuster. This is so and so. This is so famous. Everybody's talking about it. So you watch a movie, 2, 5, 10, 100. You still go to the masjid. You're still practicing. MashaAllah, everything is fine. Unknowing that your heart is being corrupted, is being rotted by these steps of shaitan, by these sins. After a while, you find it easy to watch and listen to haram. After a while, you have no problem in chatting, talking to the opposite sex. After a while, my cousins, it's okay for me to sit and talk and have fun, humor, socialize. They're not my mahram, it's okay, but my heart is clean. After a while, you have no problem in mixing, free mixing. After a while, no matter how short or long that while is, inevitably you will go on a date and fall into sin. This is how Satan works. And that is why we have to be really careful with the dubious or doubtful matters. Because this is the first step to falling into haram. Why? Because if there's no fear in your heart from doing these doubtful matters, after being accustomed to them, there is no border between you and sinful acts. These doubtful matters, when you're away from them, it's like the buffer zone. It's like the border. You cannot go into sin without doing these doubtful things. But once you cross the line, then falling into sin would be pretty easy for a person. In the hadith, we learn the instruction of the Prophet ﷺ. Halal, haram, doubtful matters. This should have been enough. But the Prophet ﷺ went on to explain. And he said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that those who protect themselves and prevent themselves from falling into doubtful matters, then in this case, they have protected their religion and they've protected their reputation. If you do not do doubtful things, your religion is protected. And this is what's between you and Allah Azza wa Jalla. This is your religion. What about the reputation part? This is what's between you and the general public. So if you stay away from doubtful things, no one can talk about you. But if you fall into dubious things, then the people would talk and say, Sheikh so-and-so is doing this and that. The neighbors would talk, your friends would talk, your colleagues would talk. Why? Because you brought this upon yourself by doing things that are doubtful. The Prophet warned you from that, alayhi salatu wasalam. And he himself cared about his reputation. There are people who say, I care less about what people think of me. This is wrong. It was reported that the Prophet ﷺ was with his wife, Safiyyah bint Huyay, may Allah be pleased with her, walking her to her house while he was in i'tikaf. It was nighttime. So two men came. When they saw the Prophet ﷺ with a woman, they turned around and walked back. The Prophet called them, so and so, come. This is my wife Safiya. And they, the companions of the Prophet said, Subhanallah, glory be to Allah. Do you think that we will doubt you, O Prophet of Allah? Do you think that we will think bad about you because you're walking with a woman? How can this happen? The Prophet said, no, listen. Satan, or the devil, runs like the blood in your veins. And I was afraid that if you saw me with this woman, who's my wife, that he would cast some doubts in your heart. And then you would go to hell because you thought negatively of me. And that is why the Prophet ﷺ brought the matter to their attention, clarifying and clearing his reputation, which is important and essential. Every one of us, if you are doing something and people look at you in a strange way, you have to clarify yourself and defend your reputation. If I'm going with my niece who is not practicing, my brother's daughter, she's not practicing, for example, and she doesn't wear the hijab, and someone saw her with me, and this person knows me, and I sense that he looked at me in a wrong way, saying, oh, the sheikh is on a date. I have to go and say, listen, this is my niece. I'm giving her da'wah, may Allah Azza wa Jal guide her to Islam, etc. So you have to clarify, and you have to defend yourself by protecting your religion, what's between you and Allah. You don't do sin, you don't even come close to sin by doing doubtful things, and by protecting your reputation, which is between you and the other people. We have a short break, stay tuned, and inshallah, we'll be right back. Assalamu alaikum, and welcome back. So, the Prophet ﷺ cleared things for us. Halal is obvious and clear. Haram is also obvious and clear. And in between, there are these doubtful matters. So the Prophet ﷺ did not only teach us, he did not only tell us, but he gave us an example. And this is for every teacher to learn from the best teacher, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Whenever you tell people about things, it would make it easier for them to understand by giving an example. So the Prophet ﷺ told us about a case where a king has sanctuary, and he keeps this fenced place, an area of land where he keeps the cattle, the camels, the cows, etc. And people know that you're not allowed to go in there, because if you go in there, you will become part of that sanctuary. And the Prophet is giving us an example of a shepherd, a person who has a number of sheep, and he's making the sheep graze here and there, so that he cares about his sheep and their livelihood. But he's getting closer and closer to the sanctuary. And the more he gets closer, the more his herd is in danger. Because the minute they penetrate and enter the sanctuary of the king, it's gone. It's considered part of what the king owns. And you have no right in saying, oh, this is mine and this is yours. This is a sanctuary. You should not have gotten closer in the first place. But is it permissible for a king to have a sanctuary? Scholars say, if the Prophet did not comment on this specific thing, because the Prophet ﷺ was telling us about reality, and he's not telling us that this is permissible or not. For example, the Prophet says ﷺ, that you, the followers of Muhammad, peace be upon him, ﷺ, you will follow the path of the nations before you, exactly, bit by bit, foot by foot. Now the Prophet is telling us about what his followers will do at the end of time, when they will imitate the disbelievers. Does this mean that the Prophet is approving it? No. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He's just telling us what will happen. Likewise, when he talks about the king's sanctuary, he's not saying that this is halal, because it also can be haram. It is halal when the king is having this sanctuary for the Muslims. So he keeps the camels, cows, and sheep of the sadaqah, of charity, in this area to be protected, so that it would graze without anyone coming to bother it. So this is halal. And the Prophet had similar sanctuary where it was only for the charity that he collects from the people, and he spends it to the people as well. So the king's sanctuary by this definition, is permissible because he's doing it for the Muslims and for the general public. The second type of sanctuary is forbidden, and that is when the king allocates a certain piece of land for his own herd and for his own cattle, and this is forbidden. He is just like any one of us. He is not entitled for provisions more than us. He's not entitled for having things from the treasury of the Muslims as if it's his own wallet or pocket to spend from. So this is forbidden. Now, the Prophet is telling us, alayhi salatu wasalam, that this shepherd is endangering his sheep, he's endangering his cattle, and he's endangering himself. Likewise, a person who falls into doubtful matters, because eventually, just before knowing it, he would fall into sin without knowing it. And the Prophet is telling us, alayhi salatu wasalam, only those with knowledge would be able to distinguish whether this is doubtful or it's halal or it's haram. And that is why we all the time have to go back to our scholars, to our learned ones. Never depend and rely on your own intellect or on your own knowledge, because there is always someone who's more knowledgeable than you. And in the Quran, nowhere you will find that Allah orders His Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam to ask for something or to increase something except knowledge. Allah says, وَقُلْ رَبِّ زِدْنِي عِلْمًا, and say, "O Allah, O my Lord, increase my knowledge." You will never find the same instruction to ask Allah to increase His wealth, His health, or His power. Only to increase Him in knowledge, because the more knowledgeable you are, the closer you are to Allah Azza wa Jal. And that is why doubtful matters can only be identified and described by people of knowledge. And it is impossible that Allah Azza wa Jal would order us to do something or forbids us from doing something and people as a whole do not know of it. There has to be a certain portion of the people that have knowledge about this. And then the Prophet ﷺ goes on to speak about a morsel, a piece of flesh, that if this piece of flesh is intact and in good condition, the whole body is in good condition. And if it's corrupt and diseased, the whole body would be corrupt and diseased. What is this morsel? It is the heart. If you recite the Quran and ponder upon it, you will find that there are so many verses focusing on purification of the heart. Allah says, for example, that Ibrahim, peace be upon him, say, يَوْمَ لَا يَنْفَعُ مَالٌ وَلَا بَنُونَ إِلَّا مَنْ أَتَى اللَّهَ بِقَلْبٍ سَلِيمٍ. On the day, nothing would avail, neither offspring or wealth, except those who come with a pure or a perfect or a healthy heart. So if you come on the Day of Judgment with your heart devoted totally and entirely for Allah Azza wa Jal, and you do not associate that with anything that nullifies your Islam, you will be saved on the Day of Judgment. The Hadith tells us that your deeds are accepted, your actions are rewarded if your heart is purified and it is intact and in good health. Is there any evidence supporting that? Definitely. The Prophet tells us, and the hadith is in Sahih al-Imam Muslim, Allah the Almighty does not look at your bodies or your wealth. He looks at your hearts and your deeds. So, if you're 6'4", if you're bulky and muscular, if you are Mr. Universe, Allah does not look at that. If you are the richest man on earth, you have trillions and billions, you're always on the top of Forbes magazine, this does not matter at all. Because what Allah looks at and what Allah approves of and what Allah Azza wa Jal rewards you for is your deeds and your heart. This is where Allah Azza wa Jal looks at. And we know the wrong attitude that a lot of our sinful brothers behave and act. when we come to them and say, Akhi, you're doing something wrong. When a sister goes to another sister and tells her, my sister, you are not wearing proper clothes. You are a Muslimah. You should not expose your body to non-mahrams. And you cannot wear such short skirts or exposing your body to even in front of women. You should be properly dressed. What do the sinful people say? They say, the Prophet said, At-taqwa hahunay, and he pointed to his chest, meaning that fearing Allah is in the heart. So my heart is clear and it is pure for his sake. This is wrong, because the hadith clearly indicates if the shell is intact and healthy, this is an indication that your heart is intact and healthy. But if your deeds, if the way you look, if your body is completely against Sharia, against the Quran and the Sunnah, if the Quran and Sunnah is in a valley and your actions and deeds are in another valley, you have a big problem. This is a clear indication that your heart is corrupt and diseased. And that is why people are heedless. That is why people are neglectful. You tell them this is halal, this is haram, they could care less. So many times people come, Sheikh, what is the ruling of this and that? And we say, this is haram. What would the reaction be? Sheikh, is it haram or is it haram? Subhanallah. Don't look at the size of the sin. Always be trying your level best to please Allah and to stay away from the things that displeases Allah Azza wa Jal. But to look at the sin and say, is it small haram or a major haram? This shows that your heart is corrupt. If your heart is clean, if your heart is intact, if your heart is healthy, this would display. And that is why people who are not following the Sunnah, their heart has some illnesses in it. People who are not complying by the Sunnah, their hearts have some defect in it. And by Allah, those who have illnesses and defects would not be admitted to paradise until their hearts are purified in hellfire. So I give you an advice, and I should be the first one to apply it. Stay away from what corrupts the heart. Stay away from sins. Stay away from hatred. Stay away from anger. Stay away from grudges. Stay away from envy. Try to purify your heart and to clean it, and only to fill it with the love of Allah and the compliance to the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, and you will be among the saved ones. I pray to Allah that He makes me and you among them. Until we meet you next time, fi amanillah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.